Strength training is a huge part of my PRs, staying healthy, running fast, and I'm going to talk about my sub 3 hour marathon I ran about 2.5 years ago. I ran a 2:58:45, and I want to walk you through the strength routine that I did throughout that time. Now, there's a caveat to this. Leading into the marathon block where I started increasing volume and doing speed work, I lifted differently. So I believe I had a massive strength block leading into this. So it helped me with this workout I'm about to talk about because it was the same workout 3 days a week. It was kind of a full body thing. It was mostly upper body and core. But I just want to point out that I was squatting heavy compared to where I'm at, right? It's not like 3 plates or anything, but I was going to failure as best as I can or increasing the volume and really building strength in my legs. And this wasn't necessarily intentional, it just happened to be what I was doing. And then when I got into the marathon training block, I changed things. So different seasons of life, different goals, you might do something different. There might be a different thing out there that works better for you. Typically what I've done is I've kind of bulked or worked on strength training in the winter, and then in the summer shredded a little bit. Not like a crazy cut or like a bodybuilder. I just change my goals, and I like to be a little bit lighter or leaner for my marathon, so I'm carrying around less weight, where I found having a couple more pounds seems to help me be stronger, get in the gym and lift heavier to prepare me for ultras. So that's just a little bit background on kind of my training seasons, if you will. And so with this in particular, during the winter and the spring, I had been squatting pretty heavy. And then I didn't do really any leg workouts besides calf raises when I got to the marathon training block. And so I did about 100 or 200 calf raises every single day. The calves can take a lot. So I was pretty much 7 days a week. I'm sure I missed 1 or 2 days. And then let's talk about that strength training routine I did throughout the marathon training block. So I was running. At this time, I was doing a running streak, so I was running every single day. This year, as I train for a marathon, I'll run 5, maybe 6 days a week. But I was running pretty much every day. Most of those were easy runs. I had my speed workout on Tuesday and some tempo during my long run on Saturday. And then here's this strength workout I've been talking about. It was kind of more of a circuit, and it was lighter weight. So I've been in the gym for several years. There's your low weight, high reps. There's your high weight, low reps. There's hypertrophy and, strength building, whatever, right? And so for me, I was really just following someone who was coaching me a little bit, and he's been very successful at the St. George Marathon. He's won it a couple times. He's pretty much always in the top 10. He runs it every single year. And so I was doing this workout with him. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 3 days a week. Sometimes we'd miss Friday, have to do it Saturday. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the most part, it was basically 3 circuits, if you will. And so it was lighter weight that you could do, and we would do each of those circuits 3 times. So I think you could plug and play a lot of different exercises, but we were pretty much hitting every muscle in the upper body. So basically what it was in the first circuit is dumbbell like chest press, right? So you're on a bench. It was a kind of curl and shoulder press with dumbbells, and then it was a lat, like a row, right? So your knee on the bench, hand on the bench, and then you would grab a dumbbell and row it for the back. And so you can look up all those exercises, are common if you need me to explain it more. But that was the first circuit. We do each of these in a row. It's pretty much no breaks. And then you would do it again and then do it again. So you'd get it 3 times in a row. And it was really anywhere between 15 and 25 reps per exercise. So the guy I was working with, he had his own little numbers that he really liked to follow. So I just followed him, and it's been a little bit of time, so I can't remember. There's like some exercises that were 19 reps. So it was random numbers, but it worked because you're pretty much at the sustained effort, and it's light enough that you can do it and really control the muscle. And so that was the first circuit. And then once we finished that, we would move to the next one. And I'm going to do my best to remember this, but I believe there was 5 exercises. So there was tricep pull downs. There was an oblique machine. There was a chest press on the machine, right? So you're sitting. And then there might have been another thing in there. Oh, it was lat pull down. And then maybe one other thing. And then again, it was random reps, but we did each of those in a row 3 times. So you go through that circuit. And then the last circuit was really just a plank, where we would just plank for a minute and then go to the side for 15 seconds, and then the other side for 15 seconds, plank for a minute, side 15 seconds, other side 15 seconds, rest for 30 seconds, and then do that again. So that only had 2 rotations. So I know I just threw a lot out there. I just wanted to throw out examples. What I'm really trying to hit is what I liked about this workout is it was not too brutal on the body like going to failure is. And I'm going to do things slightly different for this marathon training block that I'm in. But what I really liked about this is when I'm like lifting heavy and running a lot, it's pretty tough when I'm like going to failure, and it's pretty hard on the body, and you have to recover more and really focus on all sorts of things, right? As you should whenever you're training. But versus this circuit that's a little bit lower heart rate, it's not as heavy, it's not as strenuous, you can just focus on contraction and stretching the muscle. I really liked it because it went by faster than you thought. It was a circuit. It didn't like destroy you where you have to sit in the shower for 30 minutes like some like late days are when I'm squatting heavy or deadlifting or whatever. And it's much more aerobic, if you will, in the sense of you're kind of in zone 1, zone 2, similar to running zone 1, zone 2, or an easy run, right? Versus when you're going to failure, your heart rate gets up there a lot of the times, and the guy I was working with, his theory, and we would talk about this, is it's just kind of simulating the same system as if you're running easy. And so it's easier to recover from. And I absolutely felt that. And when I would look at my heart rate, it seemed to be in that similar zone. And because you're switching all these workouts, and you're doing your chest for a second, and then your shoulders, and then your back, or whatever it is, you're not exhausted because you're using a different part of your muscle. So, or different muscles every single exercise. So I really liked that. I felt like that leaned me out a little bit more. It kept the strength there. It didn't beat me up so much that I couldn't do my runs the next day, like if I deadlifted and then tried to run the next day or squatted one day. This year I'm going to change things a little bit differently, and I'm going to talk about this in a different video, but I did feel like this was really good. One, because it got me in the gym. Well, I was already in the gym, but it got me trying different things, and I think that's really important for getting better, is just experimenting and seeing what works for you. I understand the concept of if it's not broken, don't fix it. You also don't know what you don't know. And so experimenting with different things has always been good for me, and then later I can look back on it and say, you know what, that was a waste of time. I'll never go back there. Or I'm like, hey, I learned something new. And regardless of high weight, low rep, or low weight, high rep, whatever it is, it's still good to get in there as a runner and get some strength training in. And this year I'm going to lift my legs a little bit more than just calf raises every single day. I want to see how that works out. So I'll like do tempo in the morning on Tuesday and lift heavy on my legs in the afternoon. But I'll make another video on that. So hopefully you got something out of this video. I hope you get to finish your first marathon or set a PR or just enjoy the process, get a little stronger. Of course, this is going to reduce your injury risk if you're lifting properly. And I like putting on muscle, or at least feeling like I'm using everything I got opposed to just the running side of things. So and the cardio, even though that's more important to me, I think they complement each other super well. So I hope you got something out of this video. This channel's about running, fitness. I talk a lot about my goals and things I've learned and failures and what I've learned from that. So if you like that, consider subscribing. And if not, I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.